Welcome on out to Truist Park, the final game of the regular season in the books for the Atlanta Braves. 104 wins in the campaign for this team, and they've broken all sorts of records. Grant, I feel like we have to talk about the season in total. When you look back on this year, what's maybe the biggest thing that stood out to you and how they got this well?
Well, the power of this club, I think, is the thing that jumps off the page. I mean, you look at these numbers. You look at the 54 homers for Matt Olson, the 40-70 that Ronald Acuna Jr. put up. Heck, last day of the season, somebody goes into the 40-homer club. I mean, it was just impressive. All to get to 307 home runs, tying the Twins of 2019 for the most in a single season in Major League history. So if I were to pick one thing that the Braves did, so well and maybe better than anybody else, it slugged the baseball. But you look across all the stats, offensively speaking, for all 30 Major League clubs, the Braves are right at or near the top of every single category that matters. So I would say the power of this offense, more so than any year we've ever seen, has truly been the strength of the Atlanta Braves.
It's really an incredible roster, an incredible lineup where you can get power from everybody. But at the top is the superstar, Ronald Acuna Jr. At this point, we thought it for a long time that he was going to be MVP. There was some question for a second there, but he's cemented that as a 40-70 season, right?
And I joked about it, over the course of the season, what else does this guy need to show you? Because he's doing it all. But then Mookie Betts went off in the month of August, and credit to him for an outstanding season. And there are guys that have great seasons across Major League Baseball, but what Ronald did from start to finish, creating new clubs for power and speed, but it's not just that. It's the hits. It's the ability to strike out less than he ever has before. He led Major League Baseball in on-base percentage. I mean, this guy truly did it all. And when you think about an MVP, I think about somebody who can do it all. And Ronald Acuna Jr. in 2023 was the very dictionary definition to me of MVP.
It's funny, too, because if he didn't play on the same team as Ronald Acuna Jr., Matt Olson could have very well been one of the MVP favorites this year. He was incredible, over 100 RBIs, led the majors in home runs, broke the single-season record this season. When you think about what he's done this year, how special is it when you think about all-time seasons here in the Braves organization?
I mean, it may be the quietest 50-home run season we've ever seen, but he led Major League Baseball in home runs and in runs batted in. In doing so, he set Braves records for both of those categories. And we're talking about a team that has no shortage of Hall of Famers, the home run king of his time, Henry Aaron, in addition to so many others. And these are the kinds of lists that we're pulling out on a regular basis here in the second half to see who Matt Olson and who Ronald Acuna Jr. were really rubbing elbows with. Truly fantastic. I think he's a top 3 finish in MVP in the National League. And most years, when you win 2 of the 3 Triple Crown categories, you can run away and hide with the MVP. But when you got Ronald Acuna Jr. doing what he was doing, I think that's the only reason why we're not talking about Matt Olson as perhaps National League MVP.
It feels like it's 2 years in a row where maybe there were some questions with pitching and the starting rotation, maybe some injuries, and here comes Spencer Strider. Last year he was great. This year even better. Breaks the single-season strikeout record. Can you kind of think about what he did this year that has made it so special? How did he take his game to the next level this year?
It's incredible to see what Spencer was able to do, and then consider the fact that if you look at all the stuff that goes beyond just the regular numbers, he might have even been a little bit unlucky this season, but he led Major League Baseball in strikeouts and wins. Again, that's a pitcher's triple crown. That's 2 of the 3 categories. The ERA, that might be something he wants to lower in the future, but his dominance with 2++ pitches, elite pitches with the fastball and slider, allows him to do what he did and what no other starting pitcher in baseball was able to do in terms of pure strikeouts. So when you have those kinds of weapons, you can have the kind of season that Spencer Strider had. But this rotation, you're right, it needed somebody to help stabilize. And Spencer, he was indispensable from the first turn through the rotation all the way through the final series of the season. And they're going to be counting on him big time in October to continue to do as much, if not more, than he's already shown us.
Talking about October, we talked to Matt Olson post-game. He said that all these records are great, but now it's time to turn the page and look ahead to the future. They know they're going to be playing against an NLDS rival team in the postseason. When you look ahead to the postseason, as they now get a moment to rest a little while before they host the DS, what do you expect out of this Braves team? Is this a team that can get back and win the World Series?
It is 100%, and that's the expectation, I think, at this point. I mean, everybody asks, is it World Series or bust for the Atlanta Braves? The answer to that has been yes, and it's been yes for several years now. But this is a team, as we talked about the power and their ability to do the things offensively that really no other club in baseball is able to touch them in. What can that group do in October? Will they have enough pitching-wise, especially in the rotation where there are question marks with Charlie Morton and Max Fried both ending the year on the injured list? What is it going to look like as you go through the postseason? You hope to have Max Fried back fairly quickly, But is Charlie Morton going to be able to come back and impact this rotation and help the Braves get some very important innings covered? But this offense, I feel like, is that great equalizer because they've shown it doesn't matter if it's good pitching, middle-of-the-road pitching, or bad pitching. they can hit everybody. So can they do that against what we expect to be some very stiff competition with the clubs they're going to face in October?
Manager Brian Snicker talked about how it does help this organization when they're going against a team that they've played plenty of times before, considering they're going to be in the division. Phillies or Marlins, despite the team, do any of those teams give you, or maybe either of these teams give the Braves more of an issue than the other?
I would give the Phillies the edge because the overall power that they have in their lineup, if there's somebody who can at least counterpunch with the Braves, the Phillies do feel like that club. And at the top of the rotation for them, they do have Zach Wheeler, and they do have Aaron Nola, and they did go through October and through Atlanta in order to get to the World Series a year ago. The Marlins have been a club that has played incredibly well in the second half and put together, I think, a really solid season for them, and obviously they've had some success to get into the postseason picture, but they don't really strike the same kind of fear that the Phillies lineup does. They, on the other hand, have some pitching that I think could carry them for a ways, but do they have enough pitching to really be able to neutralize the Braves? Outside of that 3-game series that they swept Atlanta right after the division was clinched, the Braves have really had the Marlins number all year long. So if there were a more beneficial matchup, I think Miami's the one the Braves would probably be looking at. But when you talk about controlling the controllables, who you get to play is not something you get to control.
I think my final question for you, Grant, what is maybe the biggest worry for this team? Last year, there were some injuries in the starting rotation. We have a couple this year as well. Is that maybe the biggest worry? What should this team really be worried about ahead of the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, it's not even really a mystery at this point because you know you need Max Fried to have the success and have your rotation set up the way that you need it to be. Obviously, you need the guys who are healthy right now to maintain that throughout. We've seen crazier things happen. Charlie Morton suffered a broken leg in Game 1 of the World Series. Sometimes you get things thrown at you that you just can't handle. And really, as we say, the saying in baseball, there's no good time for an injury. But the Braves need to figure out a way to be able to get past what they're facing right now and stay as healthy as they can. I really feel like that's the only thing that can limit this club is injuries and things that cause the plan to maybe go a little bit sideways, because once you get into that postseason, the margin for error becomes more and more and more slim than it does over the course of 162. You got to win that series to advance, and you got to win that last one to hoist that trophy, and the Braves know all about that.
Man, and they only did it a couple years ago. Yeah. Seeing if they can do it again, it's going to be so much fun. We're really excited to have Grant along with us the entire ride. Grant, thank you so much for your time.
You got it.
Man,
Thank you.
I'll send you guys back to the studio.